Guys, so I am back again with another video today. I don't know what this was, but hey! So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some books that I have been reading / loving. Yeah, that covers it. I'm just going to start with the one that I read most recently, and I'm most excited about this book over any of the other books that I've been reading recently. So this book is called Tandem Living, and it's by Agatha Christie, and this is a wonderful, wonderful book by a wonderful, wonderful human being who I have the honor of knowing even just a little bit. So this story is true. This is a memoir written by Christie. So the front here says, one young woman's high-risk adventure with Jesus across cultures, through cancer, and into the mystery of God. So at the time of Christiana's life, where she was just beginning to walk on her journey to become a missionary in Vienna, Austria, right as that time of her life was beginning and right as she was diving into the deep waters, Christiana was diagnosed with cancer. Obviously that changed the entire path of her life. She was still able to go and be a missionary overseas in Austria. Her story, I read this in one sitting. Like, I'm not kidding. I sat down, I set up my hammock, and I started the book, and I spent, I think, 2 hours outside reading it. I came inside because it got dark out, and I spent another 2 hours just finishing the book. So I never stopped. Maybe a 10-minute break to, eat some food, I think. The design inside the book is really nice. I really enjoy books that are well designed, cover, back, and on the inside, and this book was certainly well done. And Christiana's writing is beautiful. I can't say enough about it. I felt like I was in Vienna with her, and I felt like I was in chemo with her, and I felt like I was friends with her friends, and I want everybody to read this book. So I'm going to throw a link to the Amazon, I'm going to throw a link to Amazon so that you can buy this book. I 100% recommend it. You will not regret buying and reading Tandem Living. It is by far my favorite book that I've read this year. I just feel like in reading this book, I got a dose of reality, I got a dose of God, and I got a dose of an incredible adventure. And it's amazing because you don't think that people's real lives actually get to be that crazy. Like, this feels like a novel, like fiction, but it's real. So, this book, please go read it. Buy it, review it, it's amazing. You will not regret reading Tandem Living. Okay, so then the next book, we're taking a total turn and we're going back to the mid-20th century to an Agatha Christie novel. So I really like mystery. Those were the books that I would read as a child. Nancy Drew was my absolute best friend when I was a kid. So I just recently started reading Agatha Christie, I think last fall, and I think I own 10 Agatha Christie novels now, so I really like her. Her books, obviously, they're not difficult. They are interesting, and if you don't know about Agatha Christie already, you missed something, because her books are the most published books outside of the Bible and Shakespeare, I think. So Agatha Christie's great, but this one in particular, I read also last weekend out in my hammock. I read this one just before Tandem Living, but I had been working on this one for about a week, where I had just read it before bed. But this one was definitely the most interesting Agatha Christie that I've read so far. It started from before the murder and then worked up to the murder, as opposed to starting at the murder and just figuring out who did it. It tells the story of Towards Zero, which the title bothers me because it's not Towards Zero, it's Towards Zero, but I'll forgive her for that because it was the 1900s. But yeah, so it's a quick read. It's only 197 pages or something like that, and this was an old one that I bought from a bookstore, a secondhand bookstore. But this one is a really good Agatha Christie book. Quick, easy read. As always, it's suspenseful and you're amazed when you find out who did it, but it's a good whodunit novel. And yeah. So then the next book is the last book that I have read in recent history. This is the Poisonwood Bible by, what's her name? Barbara Kingsolver. I don't really know how to say her name, but the Poisonwood Bible, I borrowed this book from a professor at school, and I need to mail this back. And this book was probably the best piece of literature that I have read in the last several years. I don't really tend to read difficult reads that are super weighty, and it's not intentional. It's just I'm a college student, so a lot of times I'm just when I want to read for fun, I want to read something that doesn't make my eyes hurt from trying to understand it. But, and don't get me wrong, this book is not difficult to understand. It's just heavy and lengthy, and it's set in the 1960s in the Congo, so like it's not an easy read, but it is very fluent. It definitely like reads smoothly. It's not difficult to read. It just takes a long time. But this story is complex. It switches, each chapter switches to a different character where you hear their thought processes and their perspective, and basically it is a missionary family in the Congo in the 1960s, and it essentially just takes you through the downfall of their family and what happens as a result of the downfall, and it takes you throughout these the children's entire lives, and the mom and the dad. It takes you through their whole entire lives, starting at the childhood of their daughters, and you just get to see how the Congo changes them and how religion changes them, and it's actually a really challenging read as far as for me as a woman in ministry. The father in this is a typical like Southern Baptist 1960s father. Definitely is racist and above all others, and thinks that women exist only to bear children and to cook dinner. So like that was really difficult for me, but overall this was a really good book. About the only criticism that I have for it is that the climactic moment in the story is like 200 pages before the end of the book. So even though what follows the climactic point of the story is very important and it was really valuable to the storyline, it was also kind of annoying that I reached the peak of the book and then still had like 200 pages left to read. So I did find myself a little bit tired of it by the end, and I was tired of it because it felt like I was reading book 2, not the same book. So I think that if my only criticism is just that by the end it feels like it's gone on too long, but at the same time I know that the information is necessary, so there's not really a way to remedy that other than just sucking it up and reading through, which is so worth it. Like, this is a really good book. So yeah, if you want something that challenges you in a different way than either of the other 2 books that I've talked about, then definitely pick up the Poisonwood Bible. That is a look into the things that I'm reading lately. A lot of theology and religion and faith stuff, which I find to be my favorite kind of reading outside of mystery novels. But if you guys have any books, I hit my necklace. If you guys have any books that you want me to read, that you think I should read, please let me know. I want to hear all about them. I have a goal to read 50 books this year, and I am reaching the halfway point, but I am behind, so I need all the books that I can get. So please leave those in a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more. But until the next time I see you guys, see ya!